Hello class, today we're still factoring trinomials when a is greater than 1. So your essential question is, how do I factor trinomials when a is greater than 1? So you've got 3 warm-up questions. So can you pause the video and do those warm-up questions now? I hope you tried. If you're looking at this, remember that the top number is AC. So this is 2 times 15, which gives me 30. This is 13, positive. Okay, I'm looking, everything's positive, so my 2 factors have to be positive. What are the factors of 30 that add up to 13? 1 times 30 is 30. 30 plus 1 is not 13. 2 times 15 is 30. 2 plus 15 is not 13. 3 times 10 is 30. 3 plus 10 is 13. So I know it's a 3 times 10. 3 times 10 is 30. 3 plus 10 is 13. Now comes the part that's a little different. We have multiplied by 2. Now we have to divide by 2. So I've got 3 over 2. I cannot simplify. The x stays in the denominator. So the first one is 2x plus 3. I've got 10 divided by 2. That simplifies to 5 over 1. The x stays in the denominator. So this is x plus 5. And you are done. You have factored that. When we have a greater than 1, we have to remember we have to multiply first. Then after we multiply, we have to undo that, which means we divide. On this one, we can factor out x. X squared divided by x is x, plus 3x divided by x is 3. Now, I can factor out negative 5. Negative 5x divided by negative 5 is x. Negative 15 divided by negative 5 is positive 3. I look at my parentheses. Are they the same? Yes. So I know I've done it correctly. So this is x minus 5 times x plus 3. On the next one, can we factor out a greatest common factor? Yeah, we can. We can factor out a 3. So, 3 times 3x squared divided by 3 is x squared. Minus 12x divided by 3 is 4x. Plus 12 divided by 3 is 4. Now, I look, x squared is a perfect square. 4 is a perfect square. The square root of x squared is x. The square root of 4 is 2. Is that middle term 2 times x? Is that middle term 4x? Yes. Then I know I've got one of our special cases. This is when x, this will be a minus 1 because of this minus here. So it'll be 3 times the quantity of x minus 2 squared. And we're done. So let's look at what happens when a is greater than 1. First thing you look for is the greatest common factor. I'm looking at 9, 66, and 21. Do they have a common factor? Well, I know that each one of them can be divided by 3. So I'm going to factor out a 3 to begin with. Okay, 9k squared divided by 3 is 3k. And that would be k squared. Plus 66 divided by 3 is 22. Plus 21 divided by 3 is 7. So I've factored out that greatest common factor. Now what? Well, we're going to do our little diamond again. 3 times 7 gives me 21. I've got 22 down here. Everything's positive. Both of my factors are positive. What are my factors of 21 that add up to 22? 1 times 21 is 21. 1 plus 21 is 22. So it's 1 and 21. I have multiplied by 3. I need to divide that 3 back out. So I've got 1 over 3. I cannot simplify that, so the k goes in the bottom. So this is 3 times 3k plus 1. I've got 21. I've got to divide it by 3. That simplifies to 7 over 1. The x stays in the denominator. X plus 7. And you're done. Okay, factoring by grouping. You use the same thought process. You're looking at 3 times 7. And you get 21. But you know they have to add up to 22. So we're going to start with 3k squared. What are my factors of 21 that add up to 22? Well, that will be 7 and that will be 21 and 1. So, where do we put the 21 and the 1? It does not matter. So this is 3 plus 21k plus 1k plus 7. Factoring by grouping, you're still using the same thought process we did up here, but now we're going to factor out the 3. First one we can factor out 3k. And this will be k plus 7. 3k squared divided by 3k is k, plus 21k divided by 3k is 7. Then you'll put plus 1, and then you've got no common factors, so this is k plus 7. As you're looking at it, just like we did before, this will be 3k plus 1 times k plus 7. Either way you do it, you use the same thought process. It's just the way you finish it up will be different. So, what makes sense to you is what you're going to use. My preference does not mean it's your preference. Okay, for the next one, we're going to factor by grouping. We know that we've got 4 times 25. That gives me 100. My factors of 100, that when I subtract them, I get 15. My factors of 100, that when I subtract them, I get 15. So, if we use the way we did before, I forgot that we were going to do it both ways. So I need to make my little diamond up here. 4 times 25 gives me 100. This is negative 15. I know that one has to be positive and one has to be negative because this is a negative 100. What are my factors of 100 that differ by 15? Well, 1 times 100 does not differ by 15. 2 times 50 does not differ by 15. 3 does not go into it. 4 times 25 does not differ by 15. 5 times 10, 5 times 20 does differ by 15. So it's 5 and 20. This is negative. The bigger number goes with the negative. It's negative 20 and positive 5. Okay, we have multiplied by 4, so we've got to divide that 4 back out. Positive 5 over 4 cannot be simplified. The x stays in the denominator. This is 4x plus 5. Negative 20 divided by 4 gives me negative 5 over 1. X stays in your denominator, and it is x minus 5, and we are done. Factoring by grouping, you're using the same thought process. Once again, we are using the same thought process. I'm taking 4 times 25, and I get 100. Then I need to look for those factors that differ by 15. So 1 times 100 does not work. 2 times 50 does not work. 4 times 25 is close, because 25 minus 4 is 21, but that's still not 15. 5 times 20. So 20 minus 5 is 15. So this would be, as we get ready to do the grouping part, we'll have 4n squared plus 5n minus 20n minus 25. Now we know that 20 is negative because we need a negative 15. So now, how do we get started? Well, we factor the first two and then the last two. So I've got 4n squared plus 5n. The only common factor I have is n. 4n squared divided by n is 4n, plus 5n divided by n is 5. Now I've got negative 20 and negative 25. They have a common factor of negative 5. Negative 20n divided by negative 5 is positive 4n. Negative 25 divided by negative 5 is positive 5. Look at your parentheses. Are they the same? Yep. So now we know we've factored it correctly. So the n minus 5, which is on the outside, is one of our two factors. And then the 4n plus 5, which is our parentheses, is our second. Okay, for the last one, pause the video. Can you do it on your own? If you can do it on your own, or at least get started, then you know that you are able to understand the concept. Always remember, factor out the greatest common factor if you can. Pause the video and try it on your own. Well, I hope you tried. I've got 7, 35, and 28. They have a common factor of 7. So the first step for me is to factor out 7. 7a squared divided by 7 is a squared. 35a divided by 7 is 5a. 28 divided by 7 is 4. Okay, now this is a much easier way to do it. So I've got factors of 4 that add up to 5, both are positive. So it's going to be positive 1 and positive 4. 1 times 4 is 4, 1 plus 4 is 5. So this is 7 times a plus 1 times a plus 4. And we're done. Now, what happens if we factor by grouping? If we don't factor out that greatest common factor, it's going to be a lot harder. Still, we can do it if we want to. We would, when we take 7 times 28, we get 196. And then we'll have 35 down here. Both of them are positive. What are my factors of 196 that add up to 35? That's the question. So as I'm looking, I need to start thinking. Okay, let's see. So if I take 196 and divide it by 7, I get 28. 28 plus 7 is 35. So actually the ones we used to get here are the ones we need to use here. 7 times 28 is 196. 7 plus 28 is 35. So if I'm looking at this, I'm going to use 7a plus 28a plus 28. Okay, so here we go. 7a squared and 7a have a common factor of 7a. Then 7a squared divided by 7a is a, plus 7a divided by 7a is 1. 28 has a common factor of 28a, and 28 have a common factor of 28. So this will be a plus 1. I end up with 7a plus 28 times a plus 1. And you're going to look at, well, that doesn't look the same. No, it doesn't. But we've got one more step. I need to factor out the 7, because 7a and 28 have a common factor of 7. So this is 7 times a plus 4 times a plus 1. Now they look the same, other than it's in a different order. But order doesn't matter because of the commutative property and multiplication. So which way are you going to do it? Are you going to factor by grouping? Are you going to use the diamond method? How does your brain process? Which one makes the most sense to you? I know I'm successful when I can factor any trinomial. So this is factoring when a is greater than 1.